Thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. All right, to get us started, I'm gonna share our presentation. I think this is how I do it.
Let's see if it works.
Oh, there we are. My husband, he's so smart. Okay. Just so that you know, this is, my husband and I, Dinky's Ice Cream Parlor. Get right into it. Our story back in 2011, my husband had a back injury. He was a truck driver for about 12 years. I had been a teacher for about 11 years then, and he hurt his back. Didn't really know what to do, couldn't go back to truck driving. So what I did was, well, he had several surgeries, and I gave him a book and said, listen, figure out what you want to do. So he started to write his ideas down, and starting up an ice cream parlor / burger joint was one of the main things on his list. So he, figured, all right, let's get things started. So once we got things started, we figured we would get into where we wanted to open. And Dinky's in Bangor was the place that we started because it was where our kids grew up. It's where I taught. We knew a lot of people in the area, so we figured that was a safe bet to start, opening up something new that neither one of us had ever done before. So my husband, loving the 50s, had a 57 Chevy for quite a few years. We made that our brand of 50 burger joint, ice cream parlor. We decided to make it the colors of our school district, like the maroony colors with the gold. And from there, we wanted it to be a place where people could come in, feel very welcome. We treated everybody like family. You came in, we're like, oh, hey, how are you? And people would come in and tell us their issues and say, hey, here's an ice cream. It'll make you feel better. So the atmosphere in our store is very welcoming. I think a lot of people like it because, we do have a free jukebox. We had pictures all over our wall of all of our customers that came in that wanted their pictures taken. And it really just started by me asking this little boy who's so gosh darn cute to take a picture of him. And there was a spot on the wall that I didn't really like, so I was going to try to cover it. And from there, it just spewed out like all over the entire store for that. So we wanted it to be someplace that people can enjoy coming to. In the first 5 years, we did come up with a Cory Bucket Challenge, which is kind of fun for people to try. We've had 4 people do it. It's 12 scoops of ice cream, 3 liquid toppings, 1 candy topping, 2 bananas, whipped cream, and cherry. So it's a pretty good challenge, and you got to get it done in 30 minutes. So we wanted to kind of bring that challenge part of food into our store, just to kind of keep building on and always giving the people something more. So after the 5 years, we started to look for another location. But every time we looked, it just wasn't either the right time, it was too expensive, it just wasn't the right spot. So we were kind of distressed, and plus we didn't have someone to run our Bangor location.
Right, that was a big issue. Somebody that we can actually trust to run that store without us even being there ever.
Right. So one time, back in 2019, we were taking a new route to our ice cream trade show. And as I was driving by that location that you see in front of you, my husband was like, hey, that's for rent. Let's check this out on the way back. And the whole way to the ice cream trade show, he's like, I really like the area. It's really nice. It's clean. Let's check this out. So we went and we kind of course, did the whole peek in the head through the window kind of thing. And, we started talking to our families and friends about the area. And we went and brought some people down to the area to show them. And they're like, you're stupid if you don't. They're like, this is an up and coming area. People are everywhere. You've got Music Fest, you got a chartered art school across the street,
We see the schools walking every day, like they
Yeah.
were walking around when we go there. There's so many different daycares and schools that just go for walks, which is nice to see.
Right. So at that point, the question was, do I stop teaching? We finally found a great manager to run our Bangor store. Things were just all kind of falling into place for us. So the big question was, do I stop teaching to help run this store? Because it's definitely a lot bigger in a new location. So we finally made the decision for me to resign. And
And she taught for 20 years.
right at that point, yeah, I had been teaching for 20 years. So, we did our stakeout in Bethlehem. We kind of went when it was cold, when it was raining, busy times, slow times, just to kind of get a feel for, what it would be for us, and things like that, and like how, to kind of get an idea. So setting up the new store, this is a picture of the location, which is our first location is only 700 square feet. This one is 2,200 square feet. Did I say that right? Yeah. And then, so it was a lot to deal with. The size of the store was a lot bigger. We were able to actually have a full kitchen. And it was nice to have what Norman's full dream was to have, a nice big seating area, a full kitchen, that welcome look of the 50s, and things like that. Some of the things that you should know about us, we had taken cash only at our Bangor location up until December of 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, coming into this, we were like, we have to have a credit card. So POS systems, credit cards, all new, bigger equipment. It was a big change for us. And, everything was going super cool, and everything like that. And then all of a sudden, COVID hit, and we're going to open in March. Like, we were ready to go. And so then we were like, well, how do we deal with this? So we got delivery systems, Grubhub, DoorDash, those kind of things. And that was something to deal with. We were great that we have great neighbors, business neighbors next to us, and we were able to talk to them about it. And that's something I would say to anybody. If you're going to do a delivery system, talk to
to your other businesses.
that have those things, so that you get an understanding of how it really works.
I actually canceled the DoorDash one, and because I didn't think it was worth it. And then when the neighbors came over and said, "Oh, you got to get it back going," it's like, that is like one of the most important things you should have, is a delivery service, especially down in Bethlehem.
Right.
Or any of the cities.
And one of the other things that was different between Bangor and Bethlehem was the setup. Like Bangor, it was easy. The guy's like, here, write me a check. Here's your permits.
Yeah,
do what you need to do. Small town, you get into Bethlehem. My suggestion to people is, if that's the place you wanted, before you even sign the contract, go to the city that you're going to, get all the paperwork, get everything started, because honestly, 2 months was wasted of just getting permits signed, waiting for them to get it all back to us.
Right.
That kind of thing. If I would have started sooner, then we could have maybe beat the COVID thing, not knowing COVID was going to happen, but we would have beat it. So to anybody, I would say, if that's the place you want, before you even sign, get the paperwork going so that you can really get in there and start going right away. Our new endeavors that we're looking to do, the picture you see there, we're calling it our milkshake monster. We want to set up a truck or a trailer with that in it, and solely do just ice cream and milkshakes, because you don't really get to see that. You don't see something that's solely for milkshake. It's mostly just ice cream and other things like that with ice cream. So that's one of the things that we're looking into.
Yeah, right now that thing is sitting dormant in a trailer, so
we want to get that
we want to
going
get that up and running, and hopefully get that out there.
and get it to events. That's one of the things that we want to start doing too, is getting more out into the events like we used to. D&D Motorsports, it's called the Dirty Dinky Motorsports. My son is into mud trucking, so we've all our lives, monster trucks, all the motorsports we've all been into. So that's something that we want to, and my son's into mud trucking, so we want to get into that and start sponsoring that and getting that into our new endeavor as well. The issues, like I said before, Bangor was, we knew everybody. It's a town where everybody knows everybody. And here in Bethlehem, we didn't know anybody. So, of course we do Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, but like advertising where? That's our issue. Like, where's the best bang for our buck? Where to really push the advertising to get people to know where we are and what we have. Things that we've had issues with is pricing of items, like, are they too high? Are they too low? Honestly, every item that we go shopping for has seemed to like increase in price, and that's the issue too. Like, we don't want people to turn away. We know the area is not necessarily a high, income area, but that's a concern. Our menu, is it a variety enough? We do have ice cream and burgers, but we do have other things like
Homemade
shrimps, mac and cheese balls, and we have our shrimp tacos and things like that. And then the last thing I guess I personally have an issue with is the serving of the food. Because of the area that we're in right now, we always put everything in a bag, kind of like Five Guys does. They put everything in a bag, and you can either sit and eat, or you can take it to go. But now that COVID's kind of done, I'm wondering if we should start putting it on trays and setting it out so it's more of a dine-in
The
kind
burgers
of.
that we make are definitely like a gourmet burger, and to get it out on a tray, it looks a lot nicer and presentable when you see the whole thing stacked up, because they're pretty big burgers. But when we wrap them and put them in a bag, they get pretty condensed. And
Right. So that was like, do we spend the money on all those like trays and baskets, and when it's, you're just starting to open and you're just starting to kind of crawl out of
pandemic.
pandemic. Yeah. When you put your life savings into a business. And so those items are like, I guess, our issues that, we really want to just make sure that we're doing the right thing with, our food, our menu, how we serve it, and just getting our name out there. And that would be Dinkies.
Okay. All right, so we're just about the 10-minute time here. We're going to now open it up for the question and answer session. Jill and Norm, thank you again so much for presenting, and we'll go ahead and I'll start with a question of my own. So tell me, in the store right now, how do you serve your like when you serve a hamburger or a food item? How are you serving it to people that are sitting in the restaurant? And is there a waitress service, or do they come up to the counter and they bring it to their seat? How does that work?
They come up to the counter. We actually wrap everything in like the wax paper wrap, and then the tinfoil wrap, and then put it in a bag and give everything in a bag. Everything is always served from a bag.
Okay. So have you attempted to gain a just by right directly with the customers, asking them what do they prefer to have, as far as how they'd like it to be served?
No, I haven't really asked the customers, but they will say like, oh, it's to go, or when I bring it out to them, sometimes like I'll say, oh, they ask, oh, can we eat here? And I'm like, yeah, you can eat here. Or I'll say, like, when I give them the bag, I'm like, you can stay and eat, or you can take it to go, whatever you feel comfortable doing. But
Right.
I feel like I'm saying that more often, because I think some people aren't sure should they stay or not. And I think it's not like they're asking, but what I'm getting from them, I think that's.
They see a bag and they automatically think, okay, we gotta go. Yeah, so we don't want them to think that. So that's why we're kind of like asking, should we doing trays? That's going to put more work on the workers to do the dishes and stuff like that, and definitely keep up on the dishes, because we've been noticing it's definitely getting busier.
Yeah, I know. And coming out of COVID, coming out of the other end, I'm personally seeing a lot of more people staying in restaurants than they have been in the last year. And I
Oh
think
my God, yeah.
it wouldn't be a bad idea to start offering, a tray to the folks. Hey, would you like it in a bag, or would you like a tray, and see how that goes. That's my own personal opinion for what it's worth. I have a question here from Raja. What is your customer demographic?
I think I was talking to Sean Fuller. She kind of gave me a little bit of background about the area, and how I think it's a lower income area, even though it's a very nice area. College is, I think, about 2 blocks up from us, Lehigh students. So, you know, to get them, we're trying to get them to come down. I mean, they kind of go to 4th Street. There's a lot going on there on 4th Street, but we're really trying to build up 3rd Street and get them to come down. So we have a lot of college kids. It is kind of a low, like kind of off, it is low area income, but we do have like the high school chartered arts across from us. So we do have a lot of schools like that surround us. And that's kind of our big thing is, you know, like trying to get kids, families, into our store.
Okay, question from Brandon Kelly. What kind of advertising do you need?
It's a great
You want-
question. Advertising has always been very tough for us because it can be quite expensive. And when we first started, you know, we did a lot of advertising in January and February because we honestly thought we were going to open in March. So a lot of our advertising pricing went into that. So I'm not sure where to go. Like with doing billboards, is that the way to go? Like I'm not really sure because this is, like I said, this is a bigger area. A lot of people drive by. Like,
And we're not sure what our monthly budget should be for advertising. Like, what should we be spending? Because if we see something and we like it, we do it.
right, like we've advertised in the Lehigh paper and in their online area. We've done FIG, we've done a couple of other things like Lehigh Style. Like we've done a couple of those things, but I'm not sure how much we're getting back from it. So I'm not really sure like what
The best bang for the buck is.
right, like where we should be going. Should we be doing the billboards like a blip? You know how they blip around? Should we, you know, should we be in newspapers? Should we be in magazines? What online things would be the best for us to
Right, right.
do?
Okay, I see a comment here. I'm going to jump around a little bit from Alicia Coulter. She says, I work for Lehigh and you should 100% be looking at advertising at the university. The student and the staff order lunch often, so you definitely need to
Okay.
capture the audience.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We did
Question-
the brown and white
Okay,
paper.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
We at one point we did do the brown and white. We put it in their newspaper and their online. We only did that once. I think once for the newspaper and once for the online.
Yeah.
Is that like where you think we should be, like right into their newspaper and online?
Alicia, if you want to add something there, that would be great. You can chime in if you'd like as a response.
Sure. Yeah. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Yeah, I know just faculty, I think we spend more money dining out from the main buildings. I know admissions and that spends a ton of money just ordering lunch, feeding interns. So that's a huge avenue. And with Lehigh, it's word of mouth. You have great food. People are going to keep going. But I think another avenue might even be the welcome bags as the kids come back in the fall. I know it doesn't help right now, but in the fall, even offering up like a buy one, get one, or a 10% off coupon to put in those welcome bags, something along that
Okay.
avenue.
That's perfect. Yeah, that's excellent.
So-
Yeah.
Now,
They're still spending dollars, but you're incentivizing them to come.
Right.
Right.
Now, you were talking about like for teachers and, you know, admin and stuff like that. Is that something where, you know, I could go up and say, hey, here are some menus? Like, cause I know like with COVID, like it's really hard to get into buildings and things like that. And so I wasn't really sure like how to, like, if I had menus, like to go up and say, hey, here are some menus for you guys to look at. Is that something that
Yes.
they allow us to do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a consultant with the Small Business Development Center at Lehigh, but I actually
okay.
started my Lehigh career in the admissions office. And that is a captive audience right there. They ask the person at the front desk in Memorial Hall, they're out on a tour, where do we go for lunch? So even getting menus to the admissions reception desk is huge, because if anyone in admissions eats there and likes it, they're going to say, oh, go to Dinky's. Here's a menu. Just go. Send you right down. So
Okay.
that would be my number one place to go, because that's all the outer towners touring. That's the tour guides.
Okay.
And like I said, that office spends a lot of money feeding tour guides and interns and staff meetings. So I think that'd be a good
Okay.
place to start.
All right,
Excellent. Thank
awesome.
you.
Thank you.
Sure thing. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia. So we have a comment and a question here, or a comment here from Debbie Rice. She says you have great social, getting involved in the Southside Arts events. The Valley has a Lehigh Valley Food Truck Alliance that takes bookings for events that might be helpful for the milkshake truck.
Yeah.
I don't know if Debbie, you want to expound on that?
Yeah, for large events, a lot of them book through the food truck festivals book right through the Alliance. So if you're a member, you can actually jump on events and see what opportunities and dates are open.
Okay.
So that might be
So
helpful. And
that-
then the South Side is great to get on their advertising, and their marketing of their events would be
Oh,
great as
yeah.
well.
Right, you're talking about like with Missy Hartney, the
Yep,
Southside
yep.
Arts District. Yep, yeah, well,
Yep.
she's fantastic.
Oh,
Love her.
yeah.
Honestly, without her, like she's been great. She's gotten us involved in a lot of the different events going on in Bethlehem. So she's fantastic for sure.
Can't say enough about her.
Yeah, that'd be the person I'd go
Definitely.
to.
Okay, and Debbie, you had another suggestion here regarding trays. You can go ahead and say it if you'd like.
Hold on, remind me, because
So
Sorry.
you said I would suggest trays if they say dine in.
oh
the
yeah,
Burger King-
so if they say dine in, I would do trays because its presentation is a good chunk of what people look at in a restaurant. Like, yeah, the food is good,
Yeah.
but presentation, and your
Right.
demographic is taking pictures of the food that they eat and posting it. So having it being beautifully presented and being that big juicy burger versus a squished bag burger is gonna represent
yeah.
you better.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a question here from Garish. Have you been able to gather data on what menu items are more popular compared to ice cream?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have with our POS system, we can go through and look and see, you know, I'm in our burgers are for sure like the biggest one, like our South Side and our Mr. Dinky Burger
And the mac and cheese burger.
mac and
Mama,
cheese,
Mama
yeah.
Din's mac and cheese burger.
that those burgers, it's kind of like our menu is more like comfort food. Do you know what I mean? Like it's burgers, fries, pierogies, you know, chili, homemade. We have a lot of homemade stuff, our homemade chili, homemade salsa, homemade mac and cheese. You know, a lot of that is what we're pushing. Like it's that home feel when you come in, that you're welcome, hang out, eat, you know. Last night we had someone, I think, at our store hanging out, I think on a date. Literally, I think the one kid came in at 6 and they didn't leave until almost 10. So, you know, it was nice to see it. I like when people hang out and, you know, you miss that with COVID, you know, people hanging out in your store.
Sure.
But it was nice to see.
Okay, Debbie, you have another question here. Do you put a tracker code/coupon on your advertising so you can track where your marketing comes from?
Oh, no, I didn't even think about that. Good idea.
Okay.
How does that work? Does anybody know how that works? Like with like a tracking code, like when you do that, like, is that something I've never heard of that before? So I'm curious.
Go ahead, Debbie.
Sure, and even it could be as simple as like a code like I love ice cream, or this week it's like mac and cheese is like, you know, cheesy or something, like whatever it is, just so that you know that they're saying it, or it's a tear out coupon, or they're taking like there's something they're showing on their phone, just so that you know where they're coming from. So that it might just be a
Okay,
small
gotcha.
discount, it might be something, but if you did the brown and white and, you know, 100 people give you that information, you know that that money was being spent well. If they're
Right,
not
right.
Okay.
telling you, then you don't know if it's working.
Gotcha.
But you can,
Right,
yeah, but you
that's
can
where we're
create,
having the problem.
yeah. It can be that simple.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks. Thank you so much.
Okay, Brandon, his advice is a nice video presentation would help. He certainly can help you with that. If you're interested, and he left his information in the chat screen here. By the way,
Okay.
you'll get a copy of the presentation afterwards, and you'll be able to go back to these if you don't get it while we're here on the presentation. Jeff has something to say here. I love the idea that the milkshake machine is a display or engagement angle. What might you like to do to differentiate yourselves in this LV Southside market. You have the 50 Chevy for up there, but now might you brand yourself, how might you brand yourself here?
Here, right.
Sorry, this is Chris Brigg on Jeff's system. Hi, Chris. Go ahead.
That's a great question, because, you know, the 57 Chevy, you know, that is the branding up at the Bangor store. We did actually have one of the girls that goes to the high school of the Chartered Arts School. She did a mural of our 57 Chevy on our Bethlehem store on one of our big walls, just to kind of show this is where it started from, like selling the 57 Chevy to start the Bangor location, so we didn't have any loans was the big thing. And that's how literally it got started, by selling that 57 Chevy. So to bring homage to it, to the Bethlehem, the 57 Chevy and that 50s theme. But the milkshake monster, yeah, that's something we really want to be known for, our milkshakes too. You know, we had a little bit of an issue with new kids coming in the last month, that some of our milkshakes were a little.
It is hard.
thin.
It's hard to train new kids. Like we're always getting new people in to work. And
Right.
to have our milkshakes consistent, we try to tell them that, and we try to show them exactly how to make it. But when you're not there, you can't watch every milkshake, and you're expecting them to make it right. We did find that some of the Lehigh football players had some pretty runny milkshakes.
Right.
And we're not happy with that. We're
No.
trying to fix that issue as of right now.
Right. So, and honestly, we're all about feedback. You know, we always tell people, like, when we first opened, we asked them, like, seriously, like, how was the burger? How was everything? And when people gave us the great feedback, we were like, thank you, you know, like,
Right.
you know, we can't get better if we don't know what's wrong.
Even
So,
when it's negative, we
right.
work on that. We want to build on our like fix whatever's negative, learn from our mistakes.
Right. And I think that milkshake monster could be a real big,
Oh, yeah.
like, thing for us. Like, hey, that's like, even like renting out one of the spaces out front when we get that all set up, and have it actually outside the store, to like really say, hey, this is us. This is our milkshake monster. We're burgers, shakes, ice cream, come in, hang out, kind of a thing.
That's great. Rita Guthrie has a point here. I agree with Facebook. I would love to share some specific marketing ideas with you. That's Rita's comment. Ben White, is Dinky's 1 a LLC? Is Dinky's 2 a separate LLC? Are the two locations under the single LLC? How are you recording your transactions to ensure you can review the profitability of each location?
We
That's a good question.
It is a good question. We are under one LLC, both. One is, the reason we did the and grill is because when we first labeled our name, you know, it was Dinky's Ice Cream Parlor. But we also had food, and that was like for years, people were like, oh, I didn't know you had hot dogs. Oh, I didn't know you had, you know, like food in our store. So when we came to Bethlehem, we added the and grill so that people would know that we're more than just ice cream, that we have the food there. And we still get people who come in like,
Yeah.
oh, like, and I'm like, there's a big sign that says grill, you know, like, but people will come in and be like, oh, I didn't know you had burgers and stuff like that. So I'm like, it's been a battle, but it's getting better. But yeah, it is, we have our POS system that allows us to know, like, you know, what we're selling, like what it's selling for, and we're able to look at, like, when we go shopping and, you know, paying our employees. So we're really looking at like what we're spending a week, and then looking at what we're making a week. And we're, you know, now it's definitely getting better. Now that the weather has changed and people are feeling more comfortable coming out. So it's hard to tell this first year, because we're coming up to our year anniversary in June for the one in Bethlehem. In May, it's going to be 9 years for the one in Bangor. So it's just a lot. Kind of, it's hard to compare, because, you know, how do you know how really you did during COVID?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that, it's such a hard year to kind of figure out.
Sure. It's a challenge this year for sure. Rita, do you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Sure. I actually want to share some information. I'm a marketing consultant, And first of all, on your Facebook page, some of the best pictures are of your presentation of the burger and the fries and the ice cream, because it looks so yummy. You have a picture of a push cart, branded push cart in front of your shop. Well, that's what you have when you can't park a car on the sidewalk. That's fantastic. There are
Right.
balloons, there are balloons available that look like burgers and ice cream cones. And you can, maybe if
Oh,
there's
yeah.
something big going on, like Music Fest or it's freshman move-in week, you know, put those balloons in front, because that will draw attention.
Good idea.
Once the pandemic eases up, you can do an open mic night and invite the performing arts kids and to do a open mic night, and even do a fundraiser for them. Everyone that comes in that says, I'm with the performing arts, you keep track of it. And at the end of the night, you give them 10%, and they'll invite all their friends and family.
Right.
And there are so many things you can do on Facebook. You could say, post your favorite flavor milkshake all throughout the month of May. And at the end, we're gonna pick a random name and you're gonna get a free milkshake. So everyone's gonna be posting on Facebook. They have to tag themselves or tag who they're with. And that way you're getting more mileage on Facebook, and you can do that on other social media platforms. The options for free marketing ideas are endless. You just have to come up with ideas that fit into your agenda and your time. And sometimes I think marketing, engagement, education, entertainment, all those things cost nothing compared to paid advertising. They
Right.
just
Right,
require
right.
a creative mind and somebody making it happen.
That's a great advice, Rita. I don't know
Yeah.
how much you folks are in Facebook right now and have a page in Facebook, but you know, we do it for my wife's band, and it attracts a lot of attention to it in the local area here. So it's definitely good advice to get on Facebook and advertise through Facebook to the local groups.
Not necessarily paid advertising.
Yeah.
It can be posts and things, but
Right, right.
both of them work.
They have a great Facebook page with highly active with lots of video and interaction and a whole bunch of stuff.
Good.
If you follow them, it's actually a really fun page.
Great.
Well, thank you.
This is
Um,
Tony. I'm in Northampton Community College. We're right across the street from you, Norman and Jill, and occasionally I'll go in, and you're kind enough to allow me to put information on NCC. Our students, just FYI, have 30 minutes for lunch. So I've encouraged them to maybe call in their orders before going out,
Yes.
because with that 30-minute window, they need to get something quick and out. If you have any brochures, I can stop by this week to hand them out to the barbershops. There are
Okay.
over 10 barbershops on 4th Street and hair salons. I will gladly do that footwork for you, because that's what I do in the afternoons, outreach. But their restaurant is completely, it's beautiful. Their hamburgers are not McDonald's hamburgers. Their
Mhm.
ice creams are homemade from a dairy in Bangor. I believe you have family that owns this dairy. So push that more, and good luck. And we're here to support you in every way we can.
Well, thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. So Debbie has another suggestion here with another ice cream store in town. Why not a brown and white loyalty card to keep the students coming to your location?
Oh, yeah.
That's a great idea too. We did loyalty cards up in Bangor when we first started, and I think we kind of like just forgot about that, but that is a great idea. It brought a lot of people in up in Bangor.
If I
We
can
do-
have
Ooh, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
if I can do a custom punch. So I do a restaurant in Kutztown, the airport diner, right like 2 blocks from Kutztown University. And we had to get a punch with an airplane, because kids will punch their own things or sign it. Like, make sure that you're signing it, or
Yes.
there's like a custom sub thing if you do it.
Yeah.
Right, we have a punch card. It looks like a little Sunday.
Yeah. It's cute. Almost like a little cone.
Very nice. We're coming to the end of our question and answer session. Does anyone else have another question before we end that part of the presentation? Okay. Jill and Norman, thank you so much for coming today. If you would do me a favor and stop sharing your screen. Now we're going to give anybody, first of all, I didn't see anybody new here. I might have missed you, and you can certainly chime in now to say hello to the group if you're new, if you'd like to say something.
Was.
Okay, I don't think anyone wants to say hello for the first time here today.
Hello?
Um,
Hello?
Chris wants to do a dance, I see there for us.
Hello? Hello?
There's somebody trying to get in.
There's somebody trying to get in. Can someone let that person in?
Hello? Do you hear me?
Hey,
Yes.
Carlos.
Hi, yes, I'm new here.
Oh, hi, Carlos.
hi,
Welcome.
Carlos.
How you guys doing? Good morning. I just met Tony yesterday, actually. This is pretty fun experience. Thank you, Tony, for the invite. Basically, I'm Carlos Franchi. I'm a freelance graphic designer. As of right now, I'm working Grubhub and the gig working business for now, but I do want to transition back to, my regular work, advertising, graphic design, logo design, all that kind of stuff. So I was wondering if Jill and Norman, if you guys are actually working with a graphic designer currently.
Actually,
No.
not really. We've had the one guy who helped us with our graphic designs at our first location, but he's kind of been fading that out. And things like that. So, he's helped us out with our menus because he's known us for so long and things like that, putting our menu boards up and the signage on our one window and things like that. But he's kind of like fading out of it and stuff like that. So that'd be great,
Okay.
Carlos.
Yeah, if you want to.
Okay, well, I'm willing to put in some work for you guys. I like to make things better. And me being a driver, I do Grubhub basically, right? For now, also.
Right.
And so I see both sides of the restaurant business, and I understand, some of the issues that drivers have, and servers, cooks, and both sides. So I try to be in the middle. I understand that so right now, there's a lot of tension between drivers and the restaurants sometimes because of the waiting time.
Yes.
Right.
And me specifically, I just always say hi. Hey, how you doing? I'm just checking in I got an order for so-and-so person. And I like doing that. I like making sure that, hey, we're okay. We're working together. And you got to wait to get paid too.
Right.
So in my experience, this has helped me see like a lot of issues. But it's more like opportunities on how to fix things, how to make things better over time. So yeah, me, with my experience, I'll be willing to help you guys with like what we're doing right now with giving you ideas or planning out a strategy that you want to apply and see if it works for you.
Love your positivity. I'd love to meet up with you. Yeah, if you ever want to stop in a store, we'll sit down, we'll talk.
Sure. I believe I actually stopped just one time. I did one delivery so far for you guys. But yeah, it was nice. I love the place.
I was
I
gonna
love
say,
the
honestly,
inside.
I thought you looked familiar, but I didn't want to be that person. But hey, I do actually have another question. Because we're not fast food and we're not like a true restaurant where people come out and take your order and stuff like that. It does take time because we do make your food to order. Like, if you're
Right.
asking for, there's nothing that sits in a fryer. There's nothing that sits in a warmer or anything like that. We had talked about putting a sign up saying,
We're not fast food.
good,
We're
we're
good.
good. Like we make our food to order. So, please be patient. Cause I know that people can wait because like, you only have so much space in your kitchen. And that, I know some people get really upset about having a long wait time. And our kids are very good about saying, hey, it is going to be about 25 minutes, or hey, it's going to be, a little while. We have a couple of orders already in. But that's, I'm not sure how to solve that. That's probably another big issue I kind of forgot about until you had said something
Right.
about it with Grubhub. And, because sometimes all of a sudden you get all this whole line and then a Grubhub order will come in, you'll forget to pause Grubhub, and now you're like, oh, crud. and you're trying to get that order in with everybody else's order and everybody's waiting. So that's another issue, I guess, because I think people think
Definitely.
that we're more fast food, but we're not fast food because we make it to order, but we're
Right.
not a restaurant where we go and take your order at a table. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And
Yes.
that's a scary issue. And, we don't want to lose people because it does take some time. So like Tony said, calling in is definitely your best bet because you get that in ahead of
Yep.
time and people start making it right away.
Yeah, that's definitely something I've seen, so far, and I understand it. And yeah, just some people though don't want to wait though. So I think
Yeah.
you should be fine the way you're doing. If anything, how many delivery systems you have? Do you have Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber, Postmates?
We just have, we have 3 of them. 2 of them are Grubhub and DoorDash. And then we have a thing called Placepool. It's a newer delivery system. It's not as big as the other 2. But we have those 2 for right now. I'm honestly afraid to get another one just because I'm afraid that we won't be able to handle what people come in
Right,
and
the amount of calls that come in.
right. And the wait
So
time.
I
Yes.
apologize for interrupting. Carl, you guys certainly can carry this conversation on. Carlos, and welcome. And Carlos, if you'd like to
Thank
present,
you.
I don't know if you were on at the beginning of the show, but you can certainly apply to
Yes.
present at 1 Million Cups Lehigh Valley. We'd love to help your business as well.